Hello and welcome to the final episode for the ABI Power Off series. In this episode, we will be doing a summary and a question and answer session of everything that we have looked at so far during the Power Off series. Before we begin, I'd just like to thank everyone for watching all our videos so far. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to get in contact with us, whether you drop a message below or through our website or LinkedIn. Okay.
And if you've been watching, you'd know that Manib's been asking me the questions. This time I'll be asking Manib the questions to check that he's been paying attention. So Manib, on episode 1, we talked about the AMS module. Can you tell me how many channels the AMS has?
Sure. So the AMS allows you to do power off testing through the BoardMaster. And if I'm correct, the AMS channel has 64?
64 channels, that's correct, for one AMS. How many more AMSs can you have?
Right, so you can have up to 4 if required, and that would be 256.
256 channels. Okay, so that was the first episode. That was an introduction to the AMS module. We took it out of the case, and you will be able to watch that on one of the recommendations there. So episode 2, we looked at 2 DVI, all using the AMS as well, all within the BoardMaster. And can you tell me what 2 DVI is?
Sure, so 2 DVI, I think in this episode you demonstrated on a resistor on a specific PCB we had. So VI is basically where we have a current limited AC signal, is a measurement where we have a current limited AC signal and we apply this to the device we want to test. The voltage across the device is plotted against the current through it. So what we see here is the electrical characteristics of this particular resistor that we tested. So we have voltage against current.
That's correct. So that was episode 2. We measured the VI signature of a resistor on one of our boards we've got here, and this is the one we've got. Can you tell me what that blue line is?
Sure, so the blue line is our mask, so this is the stored information. So the idea is that you save the information from a good known board, like a golden board, and then we can use this to compare against the faulty or suspect board.
Brilliant, we'll get into that more of that later in another series. Okay, so that was episode 2. Episode 3, we looked at 3 DVI.
Yeah.
I think we measured a capacitor and compared that against another capacitor. Can you tell me what the difference is between 2 DVI and 3 DVI?
Of course. So 2 DVI, we have 2 axes, it's just voltage against current. With 3 DVI, we also have frequency. So this is useful when we want to test and look into components in more detail that are frequency dependent. So for example, you have capacitors, inductors, and so on. So what this allows you to do is sweep through the range of frequencies to see how your device responds depending on the frequency, over the frequency range. So for example, we may have a capacitor that's completely fine at high frequencies, but at low frequencies it may show, let's say, leaky characteristics. So this easily allows you to identify faults with components like these.
Brilliant. So that was a summary of episode 3. We looked at 3 DVI. Episode 4, we had a look at 3 DVI on an IC. Can you tell me what's going on here?
Yes. So in the previous episodes, you demonstrated how we can test discrete components in circuit, resistors, diodes, capacitors, inductors, and so on. In this particular episode, we looked at how we can test ICs in circuit. So what we did is we connected a ribbon cable along with a clip from our BoardMaster directly to the IC itself. And we did a VI test on the IC. So we chose how many pins our IC was, and then we basically started the test. And what we see here is the electrical characteristics of each pin to the ground. So we had the ground as a reference in this case.
Brilliant. So that was episode 4 on testing an IC with the VI. Episode 5, we'll look at testing the IC again, but as you can see, it's a bit different. We were using matrix VI instead of 3 DVI. Can you tell me the difference between 3 DVI and matrix VI? So
matrix VI, another exclusive test available with the BoardMaster, as with the 3 DVI, very exclusive, not being seen anywhere else. So the matrix VI differs to the traditional VI as since we are using each pin as a reference. So this gives you a good idea of what is going on within the device itself. With the traditional VI, it gives you more of an idea of what is going on around the device, as we are using the ground as a reference. But since each pin is being used as a reference with the matrix VI, it gives you a good understanding of what is going on within the device itself. So each pin is being tested against each other, pin 1 against pin 1, pin 1 against pin 2, and so on. For example, let's say we have a 20-pin device, maybe 20 lots of 20 tests, so 400 in total. And as demonstrated by itself, all those tests happen almost instantly.
That's correct. So in the last in episode 4, we looked at testing an IC looking at the VI signatures external to the IC, to the ground. This time we're looking at those VI signatures within the IC.
Internally, exactly.
So episode 6, the final episode, the episode just before this one, we looked at pulse output using the 3D VI. Can you tell me, is this a VI test?
Okay, so the pulse output is a slightly different test. It's not a VI test, but it comes as part with the BoardMaster. It's more of a VT test. So we're changing the display from voltage against current to voltage against time, VT. So this test is useful for gate-activated devices, for example, transistors. You demonstrated on an NPN transistor, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I used the transistor on one of our boards we got here.
Sure. So what this allows us to do is trigger a pulse and see how our device responds. We could check the voltage, we could check the time the pulse is triggered, we could check the time the device is activated, and we can use this to test against or to compare against the specification, to compare against another component, and to see various other details of our device to make sure it's operating as it should.
Brilliant. Okay, Minnie, I think that's 6 for 6. You got them all right.
Great.
We'll see how well I do in the next season.
Sure.
But yeah, so you can check up on all those episodes in the recommendations. They'll all be in a playlist as well. Don't forget to subscribe so you get the next season coming as well. Anything you'd like to add?
Sure, just to point out that the next season will be a power on. We'll be focusing on power on tests. So all of this again is available with the BoardMaster. Both comes with power off and power on tests, a variety of different tests. So keep a lookout for that series.